on, girls. We're on.
We're off.
Right, what's going to happen? Are you going to ask us questions?
Yeah, I'll start out with a question. Right.
We should have cards saying if we like the questions, give them on top 5.
Fuck off, man. I'm just asking the question.
No, we're not doing that. Can we get a bell? Can we ding it?
Yeah.
No, we don't like that one. No.
Right. Helen, what year did you go down the Reno?
I was either 14 or 15.
Yeah.
I know that was dead young, but all my
14,
friends...
15.
I know. No, but all my friends were about 18.
Okay.
So they were all a lot older than me. Probably about 68.
68?
Yeah. 68.
Tell us about your first night in the Reno.
Went down with, I don't know if you know Phyllis and Sonia Williams.
No.
They were one of the lot. I don't know if they started off in Cheetham Hill, but you know, with the slum clearance and stuff, people moved. They were from Wythenshawe, not from when Tony Atta. Because we all used to stand on the street corner and watch Tony Atta walk by and fancy him. On Dave Joando. I really fancied Dave Joando. And we'd just stand there, because we're just kids really, 14. Yeah. First night down there, well, my club, more than the Reno in a way, was the Blue Note. I was down the Blue Note nearly every night, the all-nighters, the music was fantastic. Just we used to go down there all the time. And then when I got closer to Phyllis and Sonia, one night after the Blue Note, took me down to the Reno, and I was in heaven. I was absolutely in heaven. But I think I was more 15, because when I was 15, I left home. The week after I was 15, I left school, I left home, and I moved into with these mad couple in Rusholme. They were insane. They were completely insane. So that's an adventure. And they used to try and get in my bed. They used to wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a cup of hot cocoa to help me sleep. I'm really busy, and you had to get through their bedroom to the bathroom, and then the woman used to fall on the floor crying that no one liked her
in your bedroom at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And they took me around to the local vicar once to see if they knew any, because they knew I went out had black boyfriends. Took me around to the local vicar to see if he knew any nice Christian boys I could go out with.
Christian black boys?
No, white. No, white. Oh, definitely not black, white. And then they fabricated this story about me stealing, which was a complete lie. They said I stole a £5 from them. When I was leaving, she gave me a £5. So I moved, but anyway, the reason I'm telling that, and then I moved into a bed set on Hathersage Road with my set of blankets. So I used to walk home from the Reno. So I'd have been 15. I used to walk all the way home from the Reno to up past the hospitals. And I remember the local prostitutes used to say, "Oh, love, you shouldn't be out there on your own this time of night." You know, and they'd all watch me as I walked up the road. So yeah, I was 15. And when I first went down, I mean, the music was great. Loved the music. And that's why I loved the Blue Note. Because you could go to these places on your own and meet people that you knew, and you could just dance. And it wasn't always about copping off. But the men in the Reno, they were gorgeous. I mean, they were older than me. Stan Finney, Ray Fuller, Tony Atta, all of them. They were just Gilly. They were just all gorgeous. And so it's a mixture of dancing and drooling, I would say.
Okay. Lanka, when did you first go in?
It's about 1972, 73.
So we missed each other then.
And the first time I went down there, I was so disappointed.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'd grown up with my mother and her friends.
You have to tell us, before you go forward, you have to tell us who your mum is.
Oh, my mum's...
the famous.
Yeah.
Famous. Coco.
Go on, girl, carry on.
I feel like she should make an entrance.
Yeah.
Her and my Auntie Lily and people like that all used to be getting dressed up to the nines. Hairdo, shoes, nails, everything. So I thought it was like a Ronnie Scott's club. You know, all these ladies with cigar holders and
little lamps on the table.
Yes. And got down there to scruffy place. But all of a sudden, I hear tune. And that was it for me. And I walked straight to because I can hear where music's coming from. And I walked to the first sound box, and I just stood there and I was listening to... Oh, I can't remember the name. I can hear
not Dennis Brown.
No, not in the Reno. It was one of those old soul singers.
Loads of them.
Not like the Marvin Gaye types.
No.
It was just...
Not Solomon Burke.
No. Anyway, I stood there and I listened. And And then our Maxine came over. That's my older sister.
Yeah.
And she just dragged me onto her side. Stand here. But I wasn't near a sound box.
Right.
So I wanted to go near a sound box. Anyway, this guy came over and he went, do you smoke? And I went, yeah. You got a fag? No, do you smoke? And I thought, nah, I do. I went, yeah. And he had me first spliff down there.
Did you?
Yep.
What was that like?
Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was dead calming because I was quite a hyper person.
How old would you have been?
It was just before I was 18.
Right. Yeah, we missed each other down
Because my mother wasn't letting us out.
Right.
Because all we got from when we were kids was you stay away from the Jamaican boys because all they want to do is breed you and leave you. Mm-hmm.
Is that so?
But Reno, I swear to God, I could go down there on my own, no makeup, I could go down there in a tracksuit, pair of jeans and, well, they didn't call them trainers back in the day. We called them pumps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pumps.
Yeah, pumps. Dunlop.
Yeah.
And it was the music that got me. The music got me. And all the people that were down there were like a generation older than me.
Yeah.
So
Same for me.
I was always looked after.
Yeah.
You know, all those old guys. I found it was mostly the guys that looked after me more than the women. Because I think it was a bit of an embarrassment to the women because I wasn't the girly type, you know, the pretty type. And, you know, the polished nails and things. I just let things grow. So, but
it was the atmosphere.
it was mostly mixed race down, all black men and mixed race down there.
Yeah.
And the odd white woman.
Yeah.
And I just used to take the piss out of the white girls. Sorry, sweetheart.
I know.
Because they could never dance.
And she's such a snob when music and dancing goes.
It used to annoy me.
It
used to annoy me. How can anybody listen to music and not hear it?
Yeah.
I could dance.
I'd want to move for them, you know. Do the moves for them. But no, because I remember all the Stan Finneys and all them.
They were old, you know, those few years older.
And my cousin Lawrence, they called him Reggae, Lawrence Beddoes.
Oh, yeah.
He was nicknamed Reggae. I'd go down there with him because he was just in with Stan and all them. It was just, I can honestly say, I really enjoyed it down there. It was the people, the music. I got in with the DJs. My two favourite was Persian and Cooley. I think Cooley was... I think I enjoyed Cooley's music because I used to hear it at home because I was a good friend of his Mrs. Jean.
Right.
And we used to hear it because he used to test his new 45s out on us and see if we liked him, the club's gonna like him.
Yeah.
But no, I really did. I really, because even thinking about it, I smile.
I know it makes you smile
when I think about it.
And you said the atmosphere, Helen, you can't kind of quite describe it. I smile when I think of the atmosphere, but you can't put your finger on it.
You know, being one of the few white girls that went down there, I didn't feel out of it, which was nice, you know, because I wasn't into all the clubs in town either. They were too bitchy. Everyone had to look better than the other person, and I just and it was the dancing and the music, and I didn't feel out of it at all. When I think about it, there weren't many white girls went.
Yeah.
But it was just the atmosphere. Just the atmosphere. Just really, I felt comfortable. I felt really, really comfortable.
And who did you used to go down with?
I'm trying to get it in order. Because I went out with Mike for being 14 to about 22, 23.
And who's Mike?
Mike Brown.
Yeah.
And his dad was from Sierra Leone. Sam and May, they used to go down. She had red hair, really long red hair. They're a real couple. Yeah. And they had 5 kids. So I went out with Mike from 14 to bring back. We got married in the March of 73 and split up in the September.
You got married in the March and split up in the September.
Well, you know, when you're with someone and it's not right. I mean, I really loved him, but I was never really in love with him. Or I stopped being in love with him. So it was like living with your friend.
Right. So how long had you been together before you got married?
Since I was 14.
No, but how long, when did you get married?
6, sorry. We were probably together 9 years.
Wow.
All told. But only married for the last few months. But getting married was good. Because I'm not the sort of person who'll walk away from anything until I've really tried to make it work. And then I just hold my hands up, so I can't do it. And he said getting married would make me feel different. So I thought, well, I'd get married. Because to me, marriage doesn't mean a thing. It's a bit of paper. If you're going to stay with someone, you're going to stay. If you're going to go, you're going to go. So I thought, well, for his sake, I'll get married. And the day of our wedding, I got so drunk. I was so late to the registrar. You got there and all anyone said to me was, you're late. No one said you look good. No, nothing like that. And anyway, so we got married and that brought it home to me. No, don't want this for the rest of my life. No. So his parents used to go down there, so he wouldn't go. He'd go to the Blue Note and the Wheel, but he wouldn't go down there. And then I went down with, like I said, with Phyllis and Sonia and really loved it and started going down with them quite a lot. And then when his folks stopped going, Mike would go down. He didn't want to go where his mum and dad was. Mike would go down. But he wasn't a street guy, Mike.
Right.
He was just really nice, straight, down to earth, but not street. So I don't think he felt as comfortable down there as he did. I think it might have been a bit tougher.
Yeah, a bit. My brother was like that.
Yeah, but I loved it. But he didn't. So I'd go down on my own. And then, So, I went down with Phyllis and Sonia.
Yeah, I went everywhere. I could go anywhere on my own. I didn't care.
No.
I'd go blues on my own. I'd go dance.
See, I always wanted to be that kind of girl.
I went to the Monton, but I didn't go on my own.
Now,
in Monton, with a guy.
I used to go to the Monton House. Not to the actual Monton House because I'd get killed. Because we were supposed to go Sunday school on a Sunday morning.
Really?
And I heard the music from the Monton House because our house was there. The Monton House was there and the church was there. And I used to sit on the wall and because that's when I first discovered reggae music.
Right.
And I just used to sit on the wall. And when they came out, obviously they're all high and drunk and everything. I'd end up with lots of pennies and tumsies and.
How old were you then, Lanka?
I was about 9 then.
Right.
10. No, it was earlier than that because I went to Style at 9. So it was about 7, 8.
You went to Style. What does that mean?
Oh, it was a school.
Oh, okay.
I had
open air school.
It was like an open air school. I had loads of problems when I was a kid, but
well, you got to tell me that you had loads of problems when you was a kid. What
I'm not
do you
telling
mean?
you that. I'm just one of them poorly kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I'd say my first thing in music is soul music because that's what I grew up with. Because I grew up with Brooke Benton, people like that. And
yeah, my mother-in-law was into the Brooke Benton.
Even now when I hear old tunes, that's it. I'm gone.
Yeah.
It's only the only reason why you're not hearing music today is because my stereo's broken. I'm waiting to get a new stereo. But I'd say the Reno, it's a shame they couldn't have gotten a bigger place because that would have been a place because it was just about the music.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Nile?
Oh yeah. The Nile was up that way and the Western was up that way.
Yeah.
So sometimes the Nile and the Reno used to shut round about the same time, but the Western was like a blues.
Yeah.
So you went round the corner up the stairs.
Yeah.
To the Western.
I know, went to the Western and went to the Nile. But it was more like go to the Nile, see who's there, there's no one there, we'll go to the Reno. And then just, everyone you knew was sort of down at the Reno. So it was the Reno much more than the Nile. And the patty shop. On the way home. Yeah, just to give me some energy after dancing. And I was saying it, maybe after this project, someone should open another club. Someone, playing.
But it's never going to be the same.
No. But just
tell me why it's never going to be the same.
Because back then, the kids didn't mix as much. Like I've noticed now, black and white kids mix a lot more.
Yeah.
They've got a lot more in common because they're born on the same land. They grew up with the same cultures and everything. So it wasn't the same because remember, there was black, white, and then there was the half caste in the middle. And a slap on the back of the head. But because I've thought that, because because we've had loads of like Reno nights, haven't they?
Yeah.
But they've not worked.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple and they've not worked because the crowd's just not the same.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a guy down the Reno, used to, as you're walking down towards the stage, he used to stand on the right hand side, and he always used to have a long brown overcoat, and that guy had rhythm. Because I always wanted to be a dancer.
Right.
You did dance?
Yeah, I did dance, but when I was growing up, you know, you have this thing in your head, you're going to be the world's best. And
yeah, no, absolutely.
And he was the only guy I could actually dance with and do all the little funky bits that I wanted to do in the middle. And
was it Lloyd Warburton? A proper funky bits?
No, we didn't. He wasn't one of them guys that did all the flips and the kicks and everything.
Okay.
I was the one that did the flips and the kicks. He just knew how to hold me and turn me and make sure, you know, like if I was going to bend over backwards,
yeah,
you know, his hand was there. He for some reason, he just knew. But to get in the middle of that floor.
Yeah.
But nobody noticed me because I didn't have, you know, the long blonde hair or the big tits or, I just wasn't that type, so nobody really noticed.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have seen me in my hot pants.
Oh,
my hot pants, black plastic pull-up boots that went sort of up to here and just over your knee. Black hot pants, and I remember buying this Lorex top. When I think about it now, it was halter neck. It was really low at the back, and it only fastened with one press stud. And I had massive boobs. I don't know what I looked like. God knows.
It must have looked fantastic.
I know. I love that. Yeah. I love that.
I always wanted a man to talk to me tits. No, I did. The only thing I had I thought back then, brilliant enough to show was my stomach.
Right.
Because I always had even now, yeah. I've still got them.
Yeah.
But these girls with the tits.
I was tiny then. I was only about 7 stone.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really dinky. But somehow I had, because I worked it out once, I had the same measurements as Samantha Fox.
Oh,
Samantha
Fox.
I used to get stopped on the street and asked, did I want to be in a film? Would I like to have my photograph taken?
When I got stopped
in the Brown Longsight area, it's like, well, no.
I got stopped in the street. Go on, Lanka.
When I got stopped in the street, it was always, do you know where you're going, love? Up until I was about 22, I had frigging dimples. That's why I started smoking, to look older.
Did you? To look sophisticated.
Yeah, because when I used to go down the Reno, Phil used to constantly ask me how old I am.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh no, because looking at you now, you can tell you was them really young looking.
And then, obviously, he found out whose daughter I was, and then it was standing in the corner.
Which corner did you stand up the DJ?
Top, yeah, because that's where he could see me from,
right? Properly,
he could see me full. So I used to have to stand up there.
Yeah.
But
Helen just said you did do dancing. What did you do?
When I was at Style, I went to ballet school, and then I did 2 seasons with the Northern Ballet Company.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow, tell me more. As a ballerina.
Yeah, but it wasn't that good, because all I got told was, girls like you will never do it because your bottoms are too high and your legs are too low.
Really?
Crazy.
So
wow. So that's indirect racism, isn't it?
Yeah, very direct.
Look,
racism.
It's told, but back then it was like that.
Yeah, it was.
If you weren't white, you weren't getting anywhere.
Oh.
And I can remember coming home from Style, and I was about 14, coming up for 15. Yeah. The summer before I was 15. And it was all about black power.
Yeah.
And then I felt strong. I didn't have to. I didn't feel like I had to stand in the background, because it was me Auntie Ada, because my Auntie Kathleen was the one that started the Black Women's Cooperative, you know, the Catalogue Centre.
Oh,
That's
right.
my mum's older sister.
Yeah,
that's my mum's older sister. So she started the Black Women's Cooperative, and it was me, Auntie Ada, and my Uncle Ron that brought Black Power over here.
Right.
And it made me feel like, yeah.
No, absolutely. I remember that.
Yeah.
Strong.
And I really started to
how
stand
old
up.
was you then, Black Power? Because then it'll place 15.
15.
I'm
15,
only about 10, you know, when
15,
I start to feel
15 was when I reached it, because I was at Styles, so I missed the beginning.
Okay.
But no, that's what made me feel like, yeah, you can do something. You're not just going to be the nigger in the corner kind of thing. Because that's how they, even though they didn't want to, because Green Hayes, the school I went to, it was quite a good school. Because when my Auntie Kathleen went down there and kicked off about, what was that little black thing? Gollywogs.
Or jams. The Robertson jam.
Yeah.
When she kicked off about that, and there was something else, storybook.
Oh, Little Black Samba.
Yeah.
She kicked off about them. And Mr. Royal, I can't remember what he looks like, but I just remember his name. Mr. Royal took everything like that off the shelves.
Wow.
And
that's really early on.
And that's early on, because there weren't many black kids about then. And all the black kids that were about, you all knew one another. Because you all met up in the park, you know, the Rec Park or Whitworth Park.
It's true.
And on special occasions, Alexander Park.
No, Alec Park was our park.
Was it?
Yeah, because I've come from Cowsby Street, which is off Claremont Road, so Alec Park. The Rec was at the top of our street one way, but Alec Park was our park.
The Whitworth Park was our park.
Yeah.
Because we just walked around the corner to Whitworth.
But racism was really more overt then. I had bus drivers, bus conductors, not letting me on the bus because they'd see me kissing Mike goodnight.
Wow.
Yeah, and women leaving notes on my machine in the factory, calling me nigger lover.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah. And I was 15, 16, and these were women like in their 20s. Well, I seemed dead old to me then, but they'd have been in their 20s and whatever. Oh yeah, nigger lover. And then the Black Power thing, there was a march into Manchester Cathedral. I remember Phyllis and Sonia getting ready in my bedsit, and they looked amazing. But they just said, it's not your thing. It's not about you. You can't come.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go. But
how did it feel? That's an interesting thing, to be excluded the other way round. How did that feel?
Mean?
Well, you get excluded a lot being black.
Yeah.
Right? So now in that moment, you're getting excluded being white.
Oh, yeah, loads. I mean, I think I mentioned it to you before that I was really young, about 5, when I got thrown down the stairs for having a black friend. And that was my first, I wish I could trace that. My first sort of, black friend was at 5. My mother was so racist, and my auntie was so racist. They'd seen me. My auntie had seen me with her name's Rose, and I've never known if it's Rose Atta or Rose Henry or Rose. But the school was in Rusholme, so there's a primary school, and the school was so overcrowded that they built a prefab in the church's yard.
Can you hear me?
So. Anyway, we went there. So, I got thrown down the stairs. Having a black friend.
Right. Do you know somebody called Linda Brogan?
Yeah.
Yeah, my auntie. We lived in Rusholme, Grandale Street, above the doctors. That was really...
Where's Grandale Street?
It used to be like a big tyre place. It was on the corner of it, opposite the Sanam restaurant.
Yes.
It's right in smack bang in the middle.
Yeah.
It was a doctor's, and my mother was a housekeeper. So we had a flat upstairs, but the kitchen was downstairs. So we had to walk through the waiting room. If you wanted to go to the loo, if you wanted to go to the kitchen. Yeah, you had to walk. So there's me and my 2 half sisters, and we'd be toddling through the waiting room. So so I went to school. I think it was called Holy Trinity. I'm not sure, but there was a girl called Rose, and she was the only black girl.
What year are we talking?
Oh God, if it was 5.
When are you born?
52.
He was 57.
Yeah, 57, 58, something like that. And she was my friend. But I remember going home one day, and my auntie had seen me and told my mother. And we got to the top of the stairs, which is why I said we have to go through, because to get up, you have to go up the stairs. And basically she just threw me down the stairs, calling me nigger lover, wad lover, everything.
About you're a little girl.
Little girl, yeah.
And you've got a little girlfriend.
Yeah.
And that's what your mum's saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your own flesh and blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you and your two half sisters, are you all different dads?
No, they've got the same dad. She married him. Got the same dad. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got to say this. She was an unmarried mum at one point, wasn't she?
She's an unmarried mum 5 times, I think.
Your mum was an unmarried mum 5 times, and now, but she's calling you a nigger lover.
Yeah.
Wow.
She actually ended up with a Jamaican.
Oh, go on.
She did years later, and she's with him for quite a long time.
See, when them Jamaican boys come over, they could chat the knickers off and not to backside.
A racist.
I know. Couldn't believe it. I was really shocked.
How long was she with him?
Oh God. Well, she died about 2-3 years ago. We're still together.
Wow.
Yeah.
20 years or something.
She must have been, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But she was a tart as well.
Was she?
Yeah.
So she was a tart and she's thrown you down the stairs.
Yeah, I know. She'd been on the game and she threw me down the stairs. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Just so for me.
So just that child is black is bigger and worse than all them other things in her history.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's really crazy.
I know. It's just so I don't know whether that knocked something into me or whatever, or I don't know. But I always had black friends as well, and white friends as well, and Chinese friends, and it wasn't a thing for me. But growing up, I went through a lot. Of Mike and I were attacked on Market Street one night. We're just walking on Market Street. Gang of lads attacked us, beat us up.
Wow. And what year is that?
That would have been 70, probably about 70.
So it's still bad in 1970.
Oh yeah, and when we bought a house, we lived in the house for a while before we got married. It was in Higher Blakely. Keep meaning to go back and check it out. Didn't find out till months later. The neighbours had a meeting to see how they felt, because Mike would be the first black person to ever move in that area. I was horrified. I used to get so mad and so angry. But Mike said he was just used to it, just to let it go.
But he's not black though either, he's mixed race.
I know. Yeah, but I suppose he identified with being black.
Yeah, I never did, you know.
I don't think he did.
Back in the day, people didn't.
No.
I don't think he did when he was younger, but as he got older, I think he did.
I think lots of people have after they got older.
Yeah, because it was because of the racial thing. If you were half white, you were a little bit better than the blacks.
Yeah, it's true. You know.
That's how it was portrayed,
and that's how I felt.
Yeah,
and looking back now, that's how I felt with the way that the world looked at everything.
Yeah,
that was how I see myself. I have to be honest.
That's how the back in the day, majority of mixed race kids did feel that way because of the racial thing, because you weren't going to get anywhere if you were full black.
Yeah. It's true.
The best jobs you could get was in the factories and on the docks and places like that.
You just reminded me of something.
But you know what, about all this racism, I don't think this racism has changed.
It's more hidden now.
People are just not allowed to
express it.
Express it the same, because it just about a year ago, my friend came from London, Teresa Cooley's wife. Not Cooley's wife. Bell. What was his name? I can't remember his name. Anyways, and we were stood on Oxford Road because we'd just been to a dance. Stood on Oxford Road, waiting for a taxi. The taxi driver slowed down. 5 white guys walked up to the edge of the pavement. The taxi driver quickened up and passed us, and the guys went, "Yeah, see how they stopped for the white guys." Wow. And I thought, you know what?
Two older women though.
Yeah, I thought, you know what?
Wow.
That is, you're just disgusting. In this day and age where no matter what country you go to, no matter where in the world you go to, there's blacks and whites mixing all over the world now. It's not just... Yeah, especially in the cities. I'm not talking about like in little villages and all that, but in the cities, every city you go to in the world is virtually the same. Yeah. You just some drive on different sides of the road. That's the
I remember
I can see.
And this would be 75. I remember being a secretary for Swinton Insurance, worked in town, and the guy who was my boss, he was being moved to a branch that was opening up in Rusholme.
Yeah.
And he really kicked off, didn't want to go where the wogs were.
Wow.
Really.
He literally said that?
Yeah. None of the guys, I suppose he was a manager, none of them wanted to go to Rusholme at all. Niggers and wogs, that's what they said. I can't believe it. And dead blatant as well, you know, and sort of laughing. It's just, yeah.
Were you still with Mike then?
75, no.
Okay.
No, we split up in 73.
Yeah,
no. But I was really shocked that they'd had that meeting about him. And when I told him, he just sort of shrugged, you know. So I always used to be the one that got really angry, but like you said, he'd grown up with it, you know, and found a way of dealing with it, just to let it go. Just, yeah, let it go.
I wonder if we do deal with it. Lanka, what do you think about that?
What?
She said he found a way to deal with it and just let it go.
Well, that's what he said to me, that he'd found a way to deal with it. I don't think he had.
I don't think the majority of black people, even in this day, have found a way of dealing with it.
No.
We just put up with it.
Yeah, I think that's
because
more
we've got no choice.
Yeah.
We were born and bred here. We've got no choice.
And he was quiet. I think that's probably what,
Unless you've got the money to up sticks and go and move somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I ain't moving anywhere else. I've got the national health over here. I bleeding need it. But no. You see, with me not having any other heritage, because I was born and bred in Moss Side.
Yeah.
Up until I was 9 years old, I think the furthest I'd ever been was Blackpool.
Yeah.
It was one of them. So I didn't have a culture. And what I used to do is, if I was down the Reno, I'd hang on to that type of culture, you know, like mixed race culture. But if it was up the Nile, I'd be a West Indian or I'd be an African. You know what I mean? It was just one of them. I tried to mix in wherever I could.
Yeah.
I could mix in with the white kids, but there'd be always somebody making comment about your nose or your lips or your hair, you know. And back in the day, white guys didn't appreciate the black woman's body. It wasn't, you know, having a cock-off ass. And
it just was kind of unheard of, really. That's even later than black guys and white women, isn't it? The other way round, white guys and black girls is really late.
Yeah, I remember when Rosetta went out with a white guy, and she got a lot of flack for it.
Yeah.
In my memory, got a real load of flack.
Yeah, it wasn't even that I would think, oh, you deserve some flack, but I remember being shocked when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember even being young, in my late teens, I can remember seeing quite a lot of the mixed race girls going out with white guys.
My husband's white.
Because he said they were easier to get along with. And I don't think it was because they were easier to get along with, because obviously different cultures. You have to, take time to understand. Because I had to learn that as I was growing up, because I fell in love with Arvin L. Barker and that was it. He was proper yardy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Keep going. Tell me what you mean.
He was saying that he was just one of those, because when they came from their little poor backgrounds and they got jobs because they were invited over here, remember? They didn't just choose to come over. They were being invited to clean up England after the war.
Yeah, you're right.
So when they did come over, they tried to keep their own cultures, but they tried to be English.
Assimilate the word.
Yeah. And the same goes for the Africans. Because now you look at cultures who come over now, they keep their own culture, they speak their own language.
Yeah.
Everything's the same for them except the land they're on. I don't know what, I think it comes from slavery. We tended to do what the white man wanted.
Yeah.
Behave the way the white man wanted. Dress the way the white man wanted.
I think that's absolutely true of West Indians. I think I don't know about Africans. My dad's Jamaican.
No. It was true about the Africans earlier on.
Yeah.
I didn't really meet many African women when I was growing up.
No, that's true as well.
It was mostly African men, and they were gentlemen.
Yeah.
They dressed like a gentleman,
true.
you know, because they had to have it right.
Remember the Ghana Club?
Where was that?
No, I heard.
Club. But it's full of older Africans.
My mum's been there.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing that. Because we virtually lived in our kitchen, because it was a big Victorian house. It was huge.
Yeah, Monton Street.
And we mainly lived in the kitchen, because that was where the main fire was. And you didn't go in the sitting room when you were kids.
Yeah, I remember that with the display cabinet.
Yeah.
with the glass in.
Used to have the frills on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Oh, that netting. Because I remember my ex-father-in-law, Sam, he's dead now, he's such a lovely man. He'd always cook African food for himself. None of the rest of the family ate it. And his mum lived on butties. And the kids lived on like chips and beans or meatballs or I don't know, egg and chips or burgers and chips. But he always kept, that was his thing.
No, that was
and I remember saying to Lanka one, it was so funny because it's quiet man. But on a Sunday, all his friends would come round. All his friends, and loads of them were called Brown. There's so many Browns, obviously a name given to them. So they'd be in the front room, and we weren't allowed to go in the front room. Couldn't go in the front room at all. You'd hear them, and you'd sort of sneak past to go to the loo to see what was going on. So it'd just be a cloud of cigars. They all smoked cigars, not cigarettes. Cigar smoke everywhere and weed. And then as soon as they'd gone, he'd get the Hoover out, and he'd be hoovering and sort of any sign of it,
Yeah,
I just thought, I know.
That says something in itself, doesn't it? Any sign of them gone back to being what we're saying, assimilated.
Yeah, complete. I was really
like a little hour off, on a Sunday afternoon.
On a Sunday afternoon. Yeah. I heard he managed to get back to Sierra Leone to see family probably about 3-4 years before he died. Yeah, which is nice.
Lanka, you tell me your heritage, because your heritage is a different one than I know at all.
Well, my mum, my nana and granddad, got married in Blackpool. So my mum and her sisters, I think, were born in Blackpool.
Yeah, but tell me so your nana's from Blackpool,
but
your granddad's from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Go on.
Obviously, they gave him the name Lawrence. So that was the family surname, Lawrence, but the real name was Larringer.
Right.
I don't know, it was... We were neither African or West Indian, and we're neither white, and we were neither mixed race. So we were kind of like,
because you're missing out a step for the video. Yeah. You're missing out a step.
Oh, right.
So your nana, your mum's mum is Blackpool, and your granddad is Nigerian.
Yeah.
But your own dad is.
Oh, he's American.
Right, so
my
go on.
My mum met him. She must have met him on a night out, and he was from the Burton Airwood.
Right.
Burton Wood Air Base.
Yeah, Burton Wood.
But he was from Philadelphia in America. They had to go to Ireland to get married.
Why?
I'm not quite sure of that. I wish my mum was there, but
yeah.
Oh, you'd have to get her to do it.
We'll get her.
Yeah.
They had to go to Ireland to get married. And obviously, by the time she got back from Ireland, she was pregnant with me.
Goddamn Philadelphian sperm.
And actually, my son is the living image of my father, except a shade darker. But he is my father.
But you look just like
my father
Tundi.
was small, like Tundi is.
But you're the image of Tundi.
Well, Tundi's the
image of
me.
you, yeah.
So Lanka, so going back then, you said because that's a really different background, isn't it? You said because you weren't African and you're not West Indian, right? So go on, carry on with what you was going to say. Sorry for interrupting you.
I'm smoking away.
Yeah.
So can we just stop it just for a minute at the moment now? Because I'm going to